everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel GurMantra Seksha Ka Granth. I am your educator Nidhi Dua and I warmly welcomes you at this platform. I hope you all are doing good, you all are fit and fine. So guys, in previous lecture we have started our section 4, that is about equilibrium, and this is our second part on equilibrium topic. So basically in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the chemical equilibrium. So our number one topic is equilibrium in chemical processes. So you have studied that in reversible reactions there is a equilibrium that takes place, and this is known as your chemical equilibrium. The most important characteristic property of a reversible reaction is that it always attains a state of chemical equilibrium. Okay, so initially when a reaction is proceeding, the rate of forward reaction is maximum and rate of backward reaction is nearly equals to the zero. But as the concentration of the product increases, the rate of backward reaction also starts increasing and rate of forward reaction starts decreasing. Why? Due to the decrease in the concentration of the reactant. As the concentration of the reactant decreases, the concentration of the product starts to increases. Okay, so when these type of reactions are occurring, the forward reaction and the backward reaction, there comes a certain stage where the rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reactions becomes equal, and that particular stage at which rate of forward reaction and backward reaction becomes equal, this stage is known as your equilibrium stage or equilibrium state. So basically at equilibrium state, rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reaction becomes equals, as well as the concentration of the reactant and products do not change with time at the equilibrium condition. At this stage, number of moles of substance produced per second in forward reaction is equals to the number of moles of substance which disappear per second in the forward reaction. Now we have some general characteristics related to the equilibrium involving the chemical processes. So, as you have studied in previous lecture, that chemical equilibrium is dynamic in nature. Dynamic in nature, that means the reaction although appears to be stopped at this equilibrium condition, but actually takes place in both the direction, in forward reaction as well as in backward reaction with the same speed. So you may conclude that chemical equilibrium can be approached from the both sides. At equilibrium, each reactant and product has a fixed concentration, and this is independent of the fact whether the reaction starts from forward direction or the backward direction, with the reactant or with the product. Now, equilibrium is not affected by the presence of catalyst. When you add up any catalyst in any reaction, equilibrium will not be affected. The state of equilibrium will not be affected by the presence of catalyst. Why? Because catalyst has a definite property that only helps the reaction, that only helps in the reaction to attain the equilibrium rapidly. Catalyst only increases the rate of reaction, the speed of reaction. Okay, the measurable properties of the system like temperature, concentration, color, density, etc. do not changes with time at the equilibrium condition. Okay, now we have another important concept, that is about the active mass. This concept will help you to calculate the value of equilibrium constant. In further classes, or you can say in further slides, we will discuss about the equilibrium constant. So now we start with the topic active mass. The term active mass means the concentration of reactants expressed in moles per liter or the presence or the pressure of the reacting gas in the atmosphere. So in case of gases and solution, molar concentration means the number of gram molecules per liter. and also active mass is usually expressed by the enclosing symbol of the big square bracket. Now if you talk about the calculation for active mass is equals to number of gram moles of substance divided by the volume in liters, or you can say weight of substance in grams divided by molecular weight into volume in liter. And if you have volume in milliliter, then weight into 1000 divided by molecular weight into volume in milliliters. Now a very important point is there that active mass of solid and pure liquids is always a constant quantity, and active mass of pure solid and pure liquid will be considered as unity, which means 1. You will take active mass of pure liquids and solids is equals to 1. Okay, but the active mass of gaseous substance will not be equals to the 1. Okay, you have to calculate the active mass for the gaseous substance. So if you talk about the active mass, the final formula for active mass, that will be equals to density of the substance divided by the molecular weight of the substance. Why? Because you know it very well, molar concentration is equals to given mass of the substance divided by molecular weight of the substance into volume in liter. And you know it very well, given mass upon volume will equals to your density. So density divided by molecular weight, and you know it very well, if you have given the molar concentration, then you can calculate the density. So in active mass, that will be equals to density of the substance divided by the molecular weight of the substance. Next we have the law of chemical equilibrium, or you can say the equilibrium constant. In this particular lecture, in this particular topic, we will be discussing how to calculate the equilibrium constant and what is the equilibrium constant. The law of mass action was given by Gullberg and Wage in 1864. This law of mass action states that at constant temperature, the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses of the reacting substances. Now we are going to derive the value of equilibrium constant. Consider we have a reversible reaction, that is A plus B giving rise to the C plus D. Now what we required? We are requiring the value of the active masses of the products and the active mass of the reactants. You know it very well, the active masses of the product will be equals to the in square bracket C, in square bracket D, and for reacting species, active masses of the substance will be written as square bracket A, square bracket B. Now, according to the law of mass action, rate of forward reaction will be directly proportional to the active masses of the reacting species, and rate of backward reaction will be equals to the active masses of the products. Okay, so when you replaces this proportionality constant with another constant, rate of forward reaction will be equals to the Kf multiplied by active masses of A and B, and in case of backward reaction, this will be equals to the Kb into active masses of C and D, that is the active masses of products. Now what are Kf and Kb? Kf and Kb are the forward and backward rate constant, or you can say the velocity constants. So after reaching to the equilibrium state, or you can say at equilibrium state, the value of forward reaction will be equals to the backward reaction. So after putting the value of Rf and Rb, you can conclude Kf into active masses of reactants is equals to the Kb into active masses of the product, and Kf upon Kb means forward rate constant divided by the backward constant will equals to your Kc. What is Kc? Kc is your final equilibrium constant, and equilibrium constant has the value is equals to active masses of the product divided by the active masses of the reactant. So you can say Kc is equals to Kf upon Kb. Kc is known as equilibrium constant, and Kc has a definite value for every chemical reaction at a particular temperature. You have another general reaction, that is M1A plus M2B plus M3C, giving rise to the N1M plus N2N and N3O. You have to write the equilibrium constant for this general reaction. What you have to do, you have to write the active masses of the product divided by the active masses of the reacting species. But what you have to do, if you have any stoichiometric coefficient given in the reaction, you have to multiply that stoichiometric coefficient in the value of Kc, and that stoichiometric coefficient will be written as a power of that particular reacting or the product species, as you can see here in this general formula. So the equilibrium constant at a given temperature is the ratio of rate of constant of forward and the backward reaction. Kc will be equals to the Kf upon Kp. Now we have the different forms of K. First form is based on the concentration term and second form is based on the partial pressure term. With respect to concentration, value of K, form of K is represented by Kc. With respect to partial pressure, form of K is represented as Kp. For the reaction A plus B giving rise to C plus D, value of Kc will be equals to the active masses of products divided by active masses of reactant. And value of Kp will be equals to Pc into Pd divided by Pa into Pb. Now what are Pc, Pd, Pa, Pb? These are the partial pressures of the product species as well as the reactant species. Now if we talk about the relation between Kp and Kc, we are not going to derive the formula for Kp and Kc. We have to learn the general formula, the general relationship between Kp and Kc, and that is equals to Kp is equals to Kc RT delta N. What is delta N? Delta N represents the difference in the number of moles. Now what are the number of moles? To calculate the value of delta N, you need to calculate the total number of moles present in the gaseous product minus total number of moles present in the gaseous reactant. This value will be equals to your delta N. Okay. Kc is expressed by the units mole liter inverse delta N and Kp by atm atmospheric delta N. In both the units you have to write the value of delta N. Now three cases may arise according to the value of delta N according to the change in number of moles. Number one case is when the value of delta N is equals to 0. When will be the delta N value will be 0? At the condition where the number of moles of product are equals to the number of moles of reactant. As you can see here in this particular reaction, in product we have 2 moles and in reactant also 1 mole of N2 and 1 mole of O2 we have. That's why 2 minus 2 will be equals to 0, and after putting the value of Kp is equals to Kc RT delta N 0, then you will get Kp will be equals to the Kc. Now second we have delta N's value positive. The value of delta N will be positive when the number of moles of product are greater than the number of moles of reactant species. As you can see here, in product we have 2 moles and in reactant we have 1 mole. So 2 minus 1 will be equals to the 1. That's why delta N value will be positive, and in this particular case Kp value will be greater than the Kc. Third case we have when the delta N value is equals to the negative. So in this particular case, the number of moles of product are lesser than the number of moles of reactant. So as you can see here, N2 plus 3H2 giving rise to 2NH3. When you subtract the number of moles of product minus number of moles of reactant, you will get 2 minus 4, and that will be equals to the minus 2. That's why delta N value is negative. And in this particular case, value of Kp will be lesser than the value of Kc. Now, what are the possible values for the equilibrium constant? We have 3 different possible values for the equilibrium constant. Number 1, when the value of K will be equals to 1, and at this particular case, product will be equals to the reactant. Second, we have when the value of K is greater than the 1. In that particular case, product will be greater than the reactant. In last case, K will be less than 1 when product is lesser than the reactant. Okay, so you have to remember all the points. These points are really very important and these will help you to solve a lot of questions. Now we have the factors affecting the equilibrium constant. So number 1, what we have, consider the reversible reaction, equilibrium reaction as A plus B giving rise to C plus D. What you have to do, you have to write the value of Kc, the general value of equilibrium constant. So you know it very well, the value of equilibrium constant is equals to the active masses of the product divided by the active masses of the reactant. So you have written like this. Now if that reaction is getting reversed, now C plus D is giving rise to the value of A plus B, giving rise to the products. Then what will be the value of new equilibrium constant when you reverse the reaction? So the value of Kc will be equals to the active masses of A and B divided by active masses of C and D according to this reaction when the reaction is reversed. So now if you want to calculate the relation between the new Kc dash and the old Kc, then the relation will be like this. Kc dash will be equals to the reciprocal of the old value of equilibrium constant. Second, we have the stoichiometry of the reaction. So if you have any stoichiometric value in any reaction, we have different cases. First of all, you need to remember this, you need to study this point that we have a reaction 2NO2 giving rise to the products N2 plus 2O2, and this is written as the equation number 1. What you have to do now, we have different cases related to this equation. Number 1 case is if reaction 1 is divided by 2. If this reaction is dividing by 2, then the value of new Kc dash will be equals to the under root of old Kc, old equilibrium constant. And if this reaction is divided by the n, then the value of Kc dash will be equals to the Kc to the power 1 by n. Second case we have, if the reaction 1 is multiplied by 2, then the value of new equilibrium constant will be equals to the Kc to the power 2. And if reaction is multiplied by n, then Kc dash will be equals to the Kc to the power n. Third case we have, if a reaction can be expressed as the sum of 2 or more reaction. If you have given different reaction and you have been asked about the value of overall equilibrium constant, then what you have to do, you have to simply multiply the different values of equilibrium constant. For example, you have 2 different reactions and you need to calculate the common value of equilibrium constant. So K will be equals to K1 into K2. So this was all about today's lecture, guys. This was all about the chemical equilibrium. Now, in case if you are new here at our YouTube channel, you can like, share and subscribe, and if you have any query, you can mail us or contact us. Complete information is given to you on your screens. Now, a very important announcement, if you are preparing for CSIR-UGC NET, you can follow Neha Taneja ma'am on Unacademy platform. On Unacademy platform, you will get daily life classes, structural courses, live tests and quizzes, and with one subscription, you will get unlimited access. If you are interested, you can go through with this detailed paid classes. Complete information is given. While taking these detailed paid classes, you can use referral code NEHA, that is NEHA. And after using this referral code, you will get 10% discount on total fee. Thank you very much, guys. I hope now you all are cleared about the chemical equilibrium.